So before I go on to actually turning this, I've made a blank. It's 80mm, exactly 80mm wide. It's about just over 6.5 inches in diameter, but that's not really important. I only made it that big. It doesn't need to be that big, so that if this goes wrong on the first attempt, I can turn away the profile and try again a couple of times if I'm not going to need to. So let's get that out of the way. But the next step before I go on to doing that, I have to be able to construct this when I'm finished. So what I did, I went to the range. We've just opened the range up the road from me. And I bought, well, I was going to just get ordinary stickers, but little dots, you know, coloured dots, but they didn't have any, so I bought these gems and blinged up my now there's a purpose to this. What I did is each pentagram around one point, I chose a point and said, right, that point, I'm going to make that point using the pentagrams. So every pentagram that comes around that, I've stuck red gems on, so that if I construct, that's my shape that I will end up with. Well, first of all, off the ring, I'll get 30 of those at a time. Oops. 30 of those, and then in fives I'll stick them together. Well, I'll do that twice, so I've got 60 of the primitive shape. Then I'll glue them in fives to make the stars, but I won't do all of them. I'm going to do 6 at first, because I'm feeding my head. I'm trying to get this construction down, and the reason is, when I did solar flare, I didn't, and as a consequence, it's not round. It looks round in some ways, some angles, but like there, it's flat, if you see, and it's because I haven't constructed it right. So when I made Frabjous, or almost Frabjous, this, I worked out that I needed a strategy for construction, so that was done around a dodecahedron of rings using the loom bands, and that worked brilliantly. That's almost bang on. So this one, I'm working out in my head whether I can just make 12 of those and still be able to construct it, or is there something that's going to stop me? You know, you've got to get them in and looping around each other, so something could always get in your way. So I know I can do 5, and the 6th one, which would be on the around the point, if you see what I mean there, I've coloured green on this. Right, if I want that one as a star to go in, I can do it, but after I do 2 of these, I have to thread it in and keep it there loose until all 5 are constructed. And the other thing is, when I'm constructing it, I need to use one of the, well, I'll do a cutout on of the shape, the second primitive, so that the points have got to line up exactly with the points of that, because we know that at some point we've got to stick one to the bottom of there. So those points, that gives me a way of aligning the shape. So I've got that far that I know I can do 6. Now when you look at the 6 and you've constructed it, you've got 3 on these first level of stellations, and you've got 2 complete on the second level of stellations. And when you turn it upside down, you've got exactly the same thing. So but you can't construct two halves and then just slap them together, because they have to thread through each other, and you've got, you know, lots of them trying to, you won't thread them through. That's the point. So I need a strategy now for the second half, but as I do the first half, I can use this to work on a strategy for the second half. I think my strategy is going to be that, let me just get that without fumbling. I thread one point through between two of those, and that can go in place. Turn it, thread it through there, and that can go in place. And as long as I work in the right clockwise or anti-clockwise to match these curves, I think I can do that. But then that leaves this top one opposite the green one that I have to hold in loose, the same as I do with that green one, until I finish all the 5. I think that's what I'm going to be doing, but I won't know until I've done the first half. That first half point is going to be the point where I know that if that's going to work or not. I could even cut out 2 or 3 of these and try it. So here's the profile for the German ring. So that will be cut into the edge of the blank as the next step, before painting, then cutting the slots. My guide that goes on the tool rest, and I've measured down while I had this still attached, measured down to the depths, so I know at each point of each line on this what the depth of the cut is that I need, depth of the curve, so I can just parting tool and then curve down to the parting cut. I did modify this shape a little bit in a couple of ways. I made this slightly narrower, and I blended the curve. Once I'd got some of these where I could see it, I blended that curve so I get a nice smooth curve coming round. So that's where I am. Oh, the other thing, sorry, one more thing, sir, is that the wood fairy dropped loads of these things on my doorstep a week or 2 ago. I don't know where they came from. They just dropped on my doorstep. There's people that know that I use wood, and they sometimes just leave wood there for me. And they're exactly 3mm thick. I don't know what wood they are, but they're not pine. They are a hardwood. So these are a great candidate for this, because it's a hardwood. There's no milling for me to do apart from cutting it to width, and that makes it a lot better. So I was going to mill teak originally, but then you've got the, not a big issue, but the time consuming point of that is all the milling that's involved in getting it to exactly that 10mm by 3mm by 40mm. So I'll go on today, finish the German wheel, mill up all that wood ready to start, and possibly even get on to turning the first set of the primitives shape, you know. So that's where I'm going, and this was all about why I've done this early rather than wait until I've got everything ready, is because it allows my brain in the background to process it. It might have other ideas that I haven't thought of. Alright, thanks for watching.